What's up, Whisper Nation? We are back here continuing the 2019 player face-off. We're taking two players that are stacked close to each other in ADP. Big Travie and Johnny Game Time Hicks are breaking down which one of those guys they'd prefer and why. Right now, we're going to take a closer look at Cincinnati Bengals running back Joe Mixon and Minnesota Vikings running back Dalvin Cook.
Yes, we're back again.
Hey, let's pump up the volume.
Right here.
Both younger running backs who have shown that they have elite talent when they're playing. Both have dealt with some injury concerns. Both have a little bit of competition behind them, but nothing to be too worried about. Two guys that you might have a difficult time going one or the other if you're on the clock in your draft. So, Travie, who are you going with and why?
You know, earlier in the offseason, you'd probably be toiling a little bit over back and forth. I think it's Dalvin Cook for me, and I don't think it's very close when we're looking at what's going on. I mean, we've seen what Kubiak's done. So Gary Kubiak has come in as an offensive advisor to this team. And we look at his PPR running backs over the last few years when he's calling plays. Devin Booker was an RB29 in 2016. That's Devin Booker, or Devonta Booker. Sorry, not Devin Booker. Suns fans. 2015, Ronnie Hillman was an RB25. Back in 2014 with Baltimore, Justin Forsett was an RB8. You look at some of the years with Arian Foster in Houston, RB1, RB3 with that zone running scheme. We've seen the elite upside. And let's not fool ourselves about Dalvin Cook. When coming out in his draft class, he was touted with guys like Ezekiel Elliott, Leonard Fournette. The problem with Cook was his off-the-field issues and, of course, the injury concern, which he has lived up to that concern, obviously. But I think on the other side for me, Johnny, Joe Mixon has just as much concern, if not more, in the overall status of the Bengals. The offensive line has issues. A.J. Green has an injury situation. Andy Dalton is not one that you're going to trust in to lead an offense consistently and give you enough opportunities. And then on the other side of the ball, the defense has lost a lot of playmakers over the last couple of years. And you're kind of looking at it like, is this a team I want to invest in? And then finally, the final factor for me on these two is the pass catching ability. We've seen that what Mixon can do is potentially there, but they have Giovanni Bernard, who is a proven pass catcher. And Mixon's never really hit the ceiling that Cook has been on pace for in his small amount of time on the field. And so for me, I really like Cook's upside way more. And I think the offense you can trust in better. I'm trusting in Cook.
Gio's had great reviews at a camp thus far. So what about you, Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do agree with Big Travie on this one. I would rather have Dalvin Cook. But, you know, with Joe Mixon, I don't think that there's as many big question marks as we think there are, right? Like, Joe Mixon is the best running back in that backfield. I do think that he will get the vast majority of carries. He's going to get above 52% of this market share. Listen, he is. I know that he has a really good pass catcher behind him in Giovanni Bernard, but let's not forget, Joe Mixon, coming out of college, was touted because he was so good in the passing game for Oklahoma. OU, got to give a shout out to them. This offensive coordinator that comes in was a Rams disciple. In LA, they use a majority of the time, they just use Todd Gurley. So coming to this offense, it would be a little weird. It would be a little odd to see them stray to all of a sudden using two running backs. I'm not saying that they're never going to take Joe Mixon off the field, but it could. He will be on the field the majority of the time. As well as they have invested in this offensive line. They did lose one of those pieces already early in this training camp, which did hurt that offensive line. But you're looking at a guy who's going to get goal line touches for sure. There's no question about it. You're looking at a guy who is going to be good between the tackles. And the only big question mark for Joe Mixon is injuries. He's only played in 14 games in each of the last two seasons. But this guy has RB1 upside, certainly. Finished half the season or half his games last year as an RB1. Doesn't bust significantly. This guy didn't have a finish lower than RB33, so he at least got you some kind of production each and every single week. So Joe Mixon certainly has nice pieces around him, but you definitely do like the offense, that Dalvin Cook is on. You like the fact that he is going to be, the first option there as far as that team looks to be a run-first team.
All great points there by both of you on this one. Let's break it down just a little bit more specifically. I like to take some of the components that I value, and I think evaluating your fantasy football running backs and compare those qualities head to head. Goal line work, who's more likely to get it, who's more likely to be successful?
Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I'd give that to Mixon as well, just because we've seen Alexander Madison kind of show up in the red zone. Obviously, Cook hasn't been playing much, but even in the preseason, Madison has been a guy that they could give goal line work to. You have seen Zimmer kind of favor having a Latavius Murray with their running backs that can do the goal line work. Kubiak hasn't always done it, though, so that's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mixon consensus there. How about on third down? Who's more likely to get the third down work, and if they more likely to be successful?
Cook, I think.
Yeah, go for it, Johnny.
Yeah, I think that Cook has the bigger opportunity there. They want to use him as a pass catcher. That's why they brought him in. He is significant in that area. Not to say Joe Mixon isn't, but they do have Giovanni, and I do think that the Bengals will use Giovanni, in the third down role because that's what he is good at.
You guys just both mentioned it, but competition is more likely to have siphoned away from them based on the other backs over there. Predominantly, we're looking at Giovanni Bernard over in Cincinnati. We're looking at Alexander Madison in Minnesota, but there's also some other running backs there that could cause problems. Do you see either one of those guys being in a situation related to potential competition in the backfield?
I think for me, it's Giovanni Bernard's the better competition here. He's just proven to be a better fill-in guy. I know that everybody likes Madison because he's new and he's shiny and he's had these kind of breakout moments in preseason games. Bernard's been there. And when Mixon missed time last year, Bernard filled in and was RB2, RB1 borderline in that time. Yeah, in a couple games. It wasn't just one game. But anyways, I think Bernard has been. I mean, remember, they drafted Bernard to be the number one there, and they ended up taking Mixon later. Bernard is older. I get it, and he's had fragile injury past. But I think as far as talent, I'm not ready to give it to Madison just yet.
I'm on the other side of the boat there. I am ready to give it to him already because we know that he's going to get the goal line, or he should get the goal line. That's at least what we've seen in preseason. We know that this guy is an all-around just solid running back. That's what he is. Giovanni is more of a third down back. We've seen them try to give him a full workload. He broke down. He gets injured consistently. For me, I think that Madison has the more higher upside, and that's why. I mean, is Giovanni really being drafted in many drafts? I don't think so. I think that in mock drafts, I'm pretty sure he's falling, way deeper than Madison.
I think that has to do with the offense.
It could be hype. Yeah, it could be hype, but I just don't. I don't think that Giovanni is anywhere near as much, hindrance on what could happen as Alexander Madison is to Cook.
How about the offenses? I think that this is probably the factor that tilted both of your choices that we heard at the beginning. But whose offense would you rather be a part of, the Bengals or the Vikings?
I mean, this is not close. I think Johnny agrees. It's the Vikings, and they got two stud wide receivers, which any day you could take either in fantasy drafts. They've got a quarterback in Kirk Cousins that consistently throws upwards of 4,000 yards and 25 touchdowns every year. You can throw it in there. That's what he does. And then, they've got some two tight ends. It's just really stacked. The defense looks better. It's going to give the offense more opportunities. I think it's the Vikings. It's not even close.
All right. Well, do you have any more questions?
Oh, last one. If both these guys are on the same team, who'd be the more?
I think
I'm going to give it to Cook. I think, if we're taking away things like injury, we're both getting in the same situation. Taking Cook, I think his talent is there as well-rounded.
How about you, Johnny?
I don't think we've seen the upside of Joe Mixon yet, and seen what he really can do. So it's really, I mean, as of this very moment, it'd probably be Dalvin Cook. He's just bigger, stronger, faster. Well, I don't know if he's faster, but
yes, he is. Dalvin Cook set the land record for offensive players last year.
He was
fastest
ready with
clock
that. Look
speed.
at that,
dude. Ready
Fastest
to drop that,
dude.
knowledge,
I almost about had a heart attack with how fast you came out with that stat. That was great. I love it. All right, Whisper Nation, who do you guys like in a draft? Who are you taking? You taking Joe Mixon or you taking Dalvin Cook if you are given the opportunity? Let us know in the comments below. As always, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Take it easy, Whisper Nation. That's Austin Sear. That is Big Travie, and I'm Giant Game Time Hicks, and we are out. Peace.
Download our draft kit.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Whisperers podcast. You can hear more from John and Travis on Google Play, SoundCloud, and iTunes. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at TF Whisperers.